Excited to see him play. Of course, we'd love, from a Newcastle point, we'd love to keep hold of both them names as we see on that straight. We'd love to keep hold of Isak as well. But by signing and Voltemade, it looks like Alexander will probably leave before.
Replacement right now, and you alluded to it in your opening, Jules. It does mean we think that Alexander Isak is moving on then, and that deal's going to get done, right?
I was told today that the deal is very much on. Liverpool are ready to put another offer. We know that their first offer of £110 million was rejected. Newcastle won at least £130 million, which would obviously smash the record of highest transfer fee for a player in the Premier League.
Stuart, you talked about how well you feel that Eddie Howe's handling the situation, and he mentioned it there in the interview, that it can't have been easy for the players. Is that a distraction? That not just any old transfer speculation, but it's the...
Somebody to come in and succeed straight away it might be quite difficult. So I'm sure Eddie will be looking to bring somebody else in alongside him, maybe just to share the pressure.
More Newcastle are also looking for a second striker, whether that's Wissa. They still are quite keen, I think, on Wissa. It won't be Strand Larsen, who's too similar of a profile than Voltemade, as Ali just explained. Similar kind of player, certainly in terms of size. So Wissa potentially, but for Isak, who is ready and waiting to go to Liverpool.
Yeah, it's a big saga. It's been on all the news headlines, obviously. And as a player, you've got to just do your job. You've got to get on with it. But certainly, you know, it can't be easy for them either, because as players, you're wheeled out in front of the press, and I'm sure every player's been asked about it in every press conference. So it's not easy, but as a player, you've just got to get on with it and look after what you can control. You know, you can't control what's going on with another player. You can just control what's going on with yourself. So
I think it makes him closer to Liverpool than certainly it was 2 days ago before Voltemade was signed.
We were starting to think it might not happen, Stevie, and it looks like it could. Alexander Isak to Liverpool.
Yeah, and the key being Voltemade. I mean, that really busts the door open.
It can be a distraction, but Eddie seems to have done a great job in, you know, keeping everything in-house.
We're nearly there in terms of a decision being made one way or another. Shay, it looks as though it may be that the move to Liverpool will happen now that Newcastle have got in reinforcements.
And it's interesting that Voltemade is kind of going to be in the situation that Isak was in when he came. You know, we didn't know that much about him. He'd played for Sweden. We knew he had potential. And he got a season to bed in at Newcastle without too much pressure on him. And Liverpool are going to buy the finished article.
Well, what have you made of the whole saga?
Yeah, it's a shame, because I think Alexander Isak's been a brilliant player. If he does go to Liverpool, a fantastic player. You know, not that long ago we see Alexander the Great behind the goal and the Swedish flags and the way the war flags.
That's not what they were singing
at Newcastle. Today. They were singing something different the last couple of weeks, you know, but they were singing that because they feel a bit hurt, if I'm being brutally honest. The fans feel hurt how it's all panned out.
So I hope Newcastle fans give Voltemade a little bit of time, because it's going to take time. And if they do, the guy's got all the potential in the world. He can do pretty much everything. Now he's got to try and do it at the highest level over a period of time.
And I think maybe I'll advise Alexander with some of the, you know, the stuff that's come out, and especially his agent. I think obviously he's been very quiet, but I'm sure he's pulling lots of strings behind the scenes. So I just felt even from an Alexander point of view, could have dealt with it better. You know, he's not played any football pre-season as well. Even if he does join Liverpool, it'll take him, you know, he's missed a full pre-season as well.
We follow up because they were talking about it yesterday. If Isak is to come in, what happens with Ekitike?
I have no idea. I have no idea. This is what top-class management is about. Because not only are we talking about a guy in Ekitike who could not have started any better for Liverpool.
But again, part of me hopes that he might just stay and can score this time next week or in 2 weeks.
Apart from probably Salah is going to think, well, hold on a minute, is this going to affect me? So this is going to be down to Arne Slot how he handles the players.
But I do believe they need another striker in as well. So I don't think that Alexander is just quite over the line yet, but it looks that way, if I'm being honest, Kelly.
Yeah.
It's the old dominoes, by the way, because Isak is going to have to play.
Yep.
And so what happens with Ekitike? What happens with Cody Gakpo? What happens with Florian Wirtz? Because that's a decision that still needs to be figured out. What happens with Florian Wirtz? Do you change formation? Do you change the way that you approach the game? Do you change where players come from? And somebody's going to have to be sacrificed. And where do you start? Well, you're not going to start with Isak because you're making this big investment in the player. Florian Wirtz, I don't think you're going to sacrifice either, because you've already made that big investment. And so then you start looking at the players that have won a league title for you, and you're saying to Cody Gakpo,
there's been a very long and involved saga, and there's lots been going on in that. And from what you say, and from the little that we have heard, when Alexander Isak did put the statement out on social media, it seems as though miscommunication has been at the heart of it, that he is certainly under the impression that promises were made. He talked about broken promises in his statement, but that is not the understanding of the club. That's not how they understand the relationship between themselves and Isak.
yeah, I don't think so. It's, to Stevie's point, this is managing. It's a great problem to have, mind you. It's a great problem to have, but this is where you, if you're Arne Slot, this is when you need to.
He was amazing in his management and tactically as well, but there was nobody to integrate.